All right, here we are back. Hopefully, everyone has gotten nice and cozy and comfortable and settled in. I've done that myself. Have a glass of water and yeah, just having some time to drop out of my head actually a little bit. So I'm going to let Ross lead the way.
Excellent. Thank you, Shealagh.
Mm.
And just going to invite you and those at home to start by closing your eyes if that feels right for you, and perhaps finding a spot to look at if closing your eyes doesn't feel comfortable. Really support you to follow what feels good and nurturing for you. And as we go through this experience together, I'm going to use the framework of archetypes to guide you through a body experience. And in the men's work I do a lot of work with the male archetype. So for this, I'm going to actually present the female archetype and the masculine archetype. As I said, it's a gentle framework. There's all sorts of different ways to look at the archetypes, so don't get caught up in this name or that name. It's just meant to guide us to a place in our body to have an individual experience. And you'll have some time to sit in the silence of each of those places in your body and discover what it actually means to you within that framework that I present. So let's start with taking a deep breath. Coming into this moment, perhaps noticing any tension in our body and allowing our breath to send that tension away down through our feet, down into the earth. And perhaps there's something that has your attention outside of this space at the moment. Perhaps it's something that happened before you came and arrived. Perhaps it's something that is in the future that you're considering. And I invite you just to let that go and put it aside somewhere where you can grab it after this experience, knowing that it's there waiting for you. Perhaps even in this experience, you'll get some awareness of what's needed. Just allow yourself to be very, very present. So we're going to start this journey together. In our body, we're going to focus on the areas of our head, the crown chakra, as well as the third eye. And I imagine that in this space is the archetype of the wise woman, the bringer of wisdom. And this is also the place of the magician, or the wise man, the thinker. And so I invite you to take a few minutes to connect to this space, just noticing and observing all that comes to you at this time, staying connected to your breath. So staying gently with your breath and some gratitude to the archetypes of the wise woman and the magician for supporting you in gaining some awareness in that area of your body. And just allow your breath to gently flow as we go to the next archetype. So the next archetypes are the same for the masculine and the feminine. It's the lover. For the feminine, it's eros. And for the masculine, it's passion and intuition. And in our body, we're going to connect to the heart as well as the throat. And just enjoy a few minutes connected to that space and bringing your own awareness. Gently staying with our breath, bringing gratitude to the support and guidance of the lover archetype. Taking another breath, and we're switching towards the power center, our core, solar plexus, the womb space. The feminine archetype is the mother, the space of creation. And the masculine is the warrior, the place of energy and action. And just enjoy a few minutes the support of these archetypes. Again, gently staying with your breath, sharing your gratitude to the archetype of the mother and the warrior for supporting you to discover your awareness in your body. Shifting now down to the hips, the sacral chakra, the root chakra. The female archetype is the queen, bringing the energy of power. The masculine archetype is the king, bringing the energy of order. Allowing yourself to spend a few minutes connecting to the archetypes of the queen and the king. Gently staying with your breath, sending gratitude to the energies of the queen and the king for supporting you in this journey of inner discovery. Staying with your breath, we're going to go to one more place together. This is the place of synergy and integration and feeling our whole body. So perhaps some emphasis on making sure your feet are firmly on the ground. And this is being able to access all of the archetypes and to integrate them all. So just allowing yourself to experience the energy of being aligned in your body with the support of all the archetypes and enjoying a few minutes of exploration in that realm. All right. So as we bring this inner exploration to a close, I invite you just to scan from your feet, move all the way up through your body, and just notice anything that might be trying to get your attention. Just coming back into the space where you are. And when it feels right, you can wiggle your toes, move your fingers, shift your body a bit, and open your eyes when it's the right time for you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'd like to share just a couple things.
Please do.
I had some at the beginning. It was almost my left brain was looking for something else to grab onto, and I felt that happening for a while, and until I just suddenly saw an open space in front of me, like as if I was at the top of a mountain. And so for me, the word for that archetype became seer. It was seeing, um, all at once. And with the seeing, I saw a lot of ocean and I saw an island, and I knew that it was Ireland.
Mm.
Almost felt, yeah, like almost like a mystical Ireland, maybe not even the actual one, who knows. And that was enough. I just sat with that and let that be. And I was really amazed at how my brain was able to settle. That left brain just kind of let itself be. And then when we dropped into the second, I really felt I was really just staying in my body and just seeing what it was up to, because the mind was settled, and my body began to move and almost to fill the front and the side and the back of the throat and heart space. It really just on its own began to do this um, circling action. And my breath came in there, and my upper back started to have adjustments happen, like where things were stuck and energy was stuck. And um, so that was for me the message that area had and that archetype had for me was the stuckness, that there's some part of the partnership area that feels stuck and but just a little movement to bring it back into alignment. And as I moved down into, I loved when you were saying the mother and the warrior, because um, I have a very nurturing way. That's kind of just who I am at the core, and I love claiming the warrior and in concert together,
Right.
And nurturing taking a stand for nurturing. And in that, there was also movement around that area where my body really wanted to explore everything that was there. And then it went into almost like a collapse or a real protective stance. And so whether that I didn't want to really analyze it, but I just let that occur and wonder about it, whether it was the mother energy protecting the warrior, too much action or something, or if it was the warrior, where the protectiveness was coming in, I couldn't tell. And then once it opened up out of that protective uh, posture, um, I could feel the both of
Mm.
those energies together, like really connected together, which is great because I wouldn't have connected those two before.
Mm.
So I love that you brought in the masculine in weaving it in. And then at the base chakra or the power center, just in that area of the body, I could really feel the king. Well, I think it's because my last name is King. So I didn't go to the queen. I was in the king, and it was easier for me. So at first, my base of my body was looking for my seat.
Mm.
Again, with that circular kind of action, going from one side to the other, back and front, and looking for that seat of where it felt um, some self sovereignty. And then once I did find that, it stopped. My body stopped in a certain posture, and then I could feel the king.
Right.
And it wasn't just this kingship, but it was my back felt the support of the throne.
Mm.
And um, that was what the body wanted to tell me about
Right.
that area. So I really encourage people who just sat and maybe were in thinking brain for a while in some areas to just in this moment just have the listeners notice if they remember what happened in their bodies when they were in that space. Um, and I found myself stretching at times and like having to side bend. And then, but now in this end part where we were connecting with all of the archetypes, it was, I could feel them all and feel them connected because of this alignment that had happened in my body and this idea of the support of the throne behind me. So that was really a valuable exploration for me.
Well, that's so great.
Yeah. And I know you do men's groups, and part of the reason why I thought it was really important to bring you into the milieu here
Mhm.
is because of that experience.
Mhm.
And is there anything you want to share around the archetypes from your men's group as we come to a close?
Yeah, well, the four archetypes that I mentioned through the journey are the four archetypes that I work with um, as I work with men, and really it's helping them to stand in that center and be able to access all. Um,
Mm.
you know, we didn't go into it, but the archetypes definitely have their shadow realms that, example, the king can be um, very much the weakling or um, the the tyrant. Thank you, the tyrant. And it's funny, I'm trying to access my left brain after that. Yeah, so the weakling or the tyrant, and so trying to find balance, and then in most cases helping men to access all the archetypes that they might not have a connection to and be able to stand in the center of them. I absolutely still love working with women though as well, and but it's been really powerful to see. Mostly I seem to be working with sensitive men who are trying to find their place in the world and share that sensitivity and at the same time embody that healthy masculinity.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I certainly know that um, in my heart of heart, I feel as if that that the work that you're doing and what you just said is of vital importance to what is happening um, with the sort of a more world view of men, women, or masculine and feminine. And I really want to thank you so much for being the kind of person that can do that work. You are, I've known you for years and worked with you on my own stuff, and worked with you on your own stuff. And honestly, you are, one of these people I see as leading the way on a path, really the path less traveled, which was the first book that really put me on my journey. That and Living in the Light by Shakti Gawain. But you are a person that is doing that. And in this moment in the world stage, I think we need people like you more than ever before. Both with your work with men, but also bringing that presence and capacity to your work with groups at the Shealagh Center and women as well. So I want to honor that, and I want to honor that in a bigger sense beyond you, into people who are doing that work. And I know there's a few men that are on the panel, and they are certainly one of those people that are out there on the front lines, and so to speak, with this wave of bringing the masculine and feminine into a closer relationship, an intimate relationship of respect and honor.
We have a lot of work left to do.
I mean, isn't there always, right?
So thank you. Thank you.
I see you, Ross. I see you and your brilliance and all of the parts, and they're all of value, and they're all welcome. I wanted to say one last thing as we close out. It's just something that's been coming into my mind throughout this whole thing, is just about being human. Because before we recorded, we were talking about being human and what that is like. And one of the things is, depending on what kind of experience you may have had going into the archetypes, it's not about getting it right. It's just about having a little bit more awareness of what's going on in you, and really keep coming back to that place inside you that has wisdom for you. And it may come to you later in the day of something that you weren't aware of during the session, but just to kind of keep during the evening, I guess, depending on where you're listening and when you're listening, just to keep your awareness on what might be coming forward from doing this practice. And again, I always say I'm an imperfect person, along with the other 7.5 billion people on the planet right now. And so that getting it right has gone way down on my list. And so I love, I love that you brought this work to the people that were really getting into the eye of, and in a way that didn't have a lot of place to get to. Nowhere to get to, nothing to do, just be with. So Grant, that's great, because we weren't sure where that was going to go. I know in the beginning. That's great. All right. Well, I will close saying that you have a wonderful website. I was absolutely like, whoa, your website's great. And you have so many resources. So that's at rosstayler.com.
Yeah.
And also your practice is, again, can you tell me a bit more about like the practice and your name and anything else that you wanted to share about that piece?
I'll say it because it's important. It's rosstayler.com with an E, got to be different. And yeah, I work with men and women and help them to really embrace, exactly what you were just talking about, being okay with being human, really. And I do that in all sorts of ways, but ultimately it's like helping people to release their inner diamond that's always been there. So it's not this external search for something, it's actually this internal coming back to, and that's the wholeness piece. It's reclaiming, because my branding is Reclaim Your Wholeness, and the reclaim is that it's always been there, just waiting for
Mhm.
you. And it is this kind of, it becomes this kind of joke, right? Because it's like, I don't know about you, but I spent a lot of time trying to find things out in front of me, whether it was books and reading. And then afterwards, after a long time, I'm like, oh, wait a second. It's just all right here. And so that's what I
Mm.
love about the body work and connecting to your body, is because you get to touch that part of yourself that always knew that.
Mm.
And we're never done. It's a continuous exploration. So yeah.
Yeah. It's,
And
it's
what I do
really
is
so
hard to,
fascinating.
yeah,
Sorry, I talked over you. What did you say?
it's okay. Like what I do, it's hard to articulate what I do because it is so in the moment and
Yeah.
to everybody that I show up with. But I definitely bring a set of tools that help guide the process. So yeah.
Yeah, and I love those. And your program is wonderful too. I worked my way through it with you, and felt supported with it, and found a lot of gemstones.
Yeah.
And also it has inspired me to go into parts work or internal family systems as well. And
Excellent.
that's been a whole world of discovery. So
Yeah. And I'll say
okay.
one last thing. I
Oh
do
yeah.
offer a free 45-minute discovery session. So if it's like
Oh,
you want to experience coaching, that's there for you.
amazing. That is a great gift. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. So I will be posting your website and any other, if you have a LinkedIn profile and that kind of thing,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
going to put that on the
Website is great.
chat. Okay.
Awesome.
Well, thank you again. And it's been really a pleasure just to be with you. And I really thank you for your time today.
And thank you. And thank you to everyone on the call as well.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I will see you soon.
Yeah.
See you on Saturday. Bye for now, Ross.
Bye.